Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of What Makes Gaming Great. I'm Grant Dillon, and this is the Throwback community. In this episode, we'll be covering Halo 3 ODST. Before we jump into ODST's campaign, we're going to take a look at its release and what it brought to Halo. Halo 3 ODST, originally titled Halo 3 Recon, was released for the Xbox 360 on September 22, 2009. It will later be released with the Master Chief Collection as a $4.99 DLC on May 30th, 2015. It then came to PC with MCC on September 21st, 2020. ODST didn't have its own multiplayer, however it did bring a few extra maps to the Halo 3 multiplayer, which we'll discuss more on next week's episode. It is also the first game to introduce a now fan-favorite mode, Firefight. Firefight is a mode in which up to 4 players can get together to fight wave after wave of Covenant forces via Xbox Live or System Link. Now let's get into the campaign. This game starts right after the events of the Halo 2 mission Metropolis and acts as a prologue to Halo 3, bridging the events of Halo 2 and Halo 3. If you'd like more info about Halo 2 before jumping feet first into hell, as the ODST motto goes, then go ahead and check out our last video. If you're all ready, then let's get started.
So check your mouths, find your chairs, and get set for a combat drop.
What the hell am I supposed to do with this inside a Covenant ship?
ODST starts on the UNSC heavy cruiser Say My Name in orbit above New Mombasa, Kenya. Our ODST squad is getting ready to drop onto the Prophet of Regrets carrier that is hovering near the city's space elevator. Squad leader, Gunnery Sergeant Edward Buck, then steps onto the bridge with an ONI operative named Veronica Dare. Dare and Buck have an exchange that suggests that they may have a romantic past, and also suggests that Dare has a separate mission that the squad doesn't know they're a part of. After we're introduced to the rest of the team, Romeo, Dutch, Mickey, and the Rookie, we get in our drop pods and head to the surface. It is then confirmed to the rest of the team that Captain Dare has a different top-secret mission as she diverts the team's path away from the Covenant supercarrier. However, before the pods can land, the supercarrier jumps into slipspace with the UNSC in amber clad close behind. This sends out a shockwave that knocks the pods in all different directions, separating the team.
They popped their ships! We're going in hard!
So, we start gameplay as the Rookie, who wakes up from his pod crashing, previously being unconscious for 6 hours after the slipspace event sent the pods out of control. As the Rookie, we travel throughout the city with the help of the city's superintendent, looking for clues to help us find our missing squad mates. The first clue we find is Captain Dare's helmet, lodged in a computer screen inside a building. The helmet appears to have been launched as a projectile. This is when we switch over to Sergeant Buck to find out how it got there. It was 6 hours earlier, right when the pods hit, and Buck was able to get out of his pod safely. Dare contacts him over the radio to inform him that she is stuck inside her pod with the Covenant closing in. Buck fights through the city that's crawling with Covenant, only to find that the captain's pod is empty when he arrives. A Huragok, more commonly known as an engineer, approaches Buck, holding Dare's helmet in one of its tentacles. Romeo, who has just arrived off screen, thinks the engineer is hostile and snipes it in the head, triggering its explosive vest. This explosion sends the helmet through the window of a building and into the computer screen that the Rookie found it in. The next clue we find is a broken drone. This sends us to Dutch, who leads a Warthog charge with some Marines 30 minutes after the initial drop. After helping them with their mission, Dutch drives the Warthog through Covenant defenses and makes an awesome jump back into the city. This is when a drone crashes and lands right next to him on the ground, right where the Rookie found it. The next clue is a damaged stationary Gauss cannon. This brings us to Mickey, who uses a Scorpion tank to get some Marines to their rally point, which is the ONI building in New Mombasa. On the way to this rally point, we witness a Marine on the stationary Gauss cannon who panics and fires too early. This alerts the Covenant to his position and he is killed, hence the destroyed Gauss cannon. Once Mickey reaches the rally point, he regroups with Dutch and they head inside the Oni site. The next clue we find as the Rookie is a piece of a remote detonation charge, next to a destroyed bridge that would have led to the Oni building that was also destroyed. This brings us back to Dutch and Mickey, who destroyed the bridge to the Oni building to prevent Covenant forces from crossing. This is only a temporary delay, however, as the Covenant use Phantoms to land on the other side. After fighting off waves upon waves of Covenant forces, Dutch and Mickey retreat inside the building where there are hundreds of charges set. They make their way to the roof and board a Pelican to escape the building. This is when they find out that Buck and Romeo are waiting for them at the New Mombasa Police Department HQ. As they fly away, the charges go off and the Oni building is destroyed, preventing the Covenant from using the data stored inside.
All right, you up top.
What? This day ain't turning out so bad after all!
The next clue discovered is a mangled sniper rifle hanging from some power lines. This takes us to Buck and Romeo on top of NMPD HQ. As Dutch and Mickey's Pelican approaches, it is shot down by Banshees and crashes on the other side of the HQ. Buck and Romeo then fight their way across to the crashed Pelican and defend their squad mates. They fought off the Covenant, however, Brute Chieftain with a gravity hammer badly injured Romeo, and his mangled sniper rifle falls off the building, implying that it is the same one that the Rookie found in the power lines. The final clue found by the Rookie is an empty can of biofoam. This takes us back to Buck, Dutch, and Mickey carrying the injured Romeo. It is revealed that Romeo has a punctured lung, and Buck uses the biofoam to temporarily seal up the wound. He then throws the empty canister on the ground where the Rookie would later find it. The four then take control of a Phantom and a Banshee and fight their way through Covenant forces and out of the city. At this point, the Rookie has now made it to the sublevels of the city, where he finds Captain Dare and she reveals that her mission is to retrieve the data that the damaged Superintendent holds. After fighting through Covenant to get to the Superintendent, it is revealed that a Huragok, or an engineer, has actually absorbed the Superintendent's knowledge and combined it with its own. It is also revealed that the Huragok are slaves to the Covenant and are willing to aid the humans. The Rookie and Dare fight their way back to the surface, running into Buck along the way, who has come back to find them. He informs the pair that he and the other members of the squad have a Phantom waiting in the shipyard down the highway. So, the group fights down the highway, however their vehicles are severely damaged and they have to pull off. After making one final stand against the Covenant, the Rookie, Buck, Dare, and the Huragok, nicknamed Virgil, are picked up by the Phantom piloted by Dutch, Mickey, and Romeo. They then make their getaway.
Was a hell of a night.
In a final cutscene that takes place a month later, Sergeant Avery Johnson is given permission to interrogate the Huragok and see if it knows what the Covenant are looking for on Earth. This is a nod to the events in Halo 3.
They're digging a mighty big hole. You're gonna tell me exactly what they're looking for, and then you're gonna help me stop them.
And that's ODST for you. What makes this game so great is that it's a real departure from the other Halo games. It's much darker and has a much different mood, plus a very unique soundtrack. It's the first and only time, so far anyways, that we've gotten to see a Marine's view from a first-person perspective, even if they are ODSTs. That's all we've got for you this week. We hope you enjoyed this episode of What Makes Gaming Great, and we thank you so much for watching. As always, check out our Instagram accounts, which are in the description, and make sure to like and subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Join us next week for episode 6 as we take a look at the Halo 3 multiplayer. Stay safe, everyone. Love yourself and others. Dylan out.